My name is Victor Kovner. For many of us, this evening is like a memorial for our entire lives. So central to our very beings was Peter Yarrow. And for some of us, that was true for nearly 60 years. Though many present fall into one or more of the following categories, for me, I was Peter's lawyer, one of a number of lawyers, but a very special one, his confidant, his advisor, his friend, his neighbor, his ski companion, and at all times, his devout fan. Peter lived, as you know, at 27 West 67th Street for roughly 50 years. As for being a generous and supportive neighbor, it should be noted that nearly all of the residents of our building are here with us this evening. From the beach at Fire Island to the intermediate slopes at Telluride, black-rated expert slopes were well beyond Sarah and me, and beyond Peter too, though sometimes he would forget, to our profound regret. To dinners in the outdoor shed at Old John's on West 67th Street, Peter's favorite neighborhood restaurant, a people's place, he would say, we would invariably explore the highlights and lowlights of the world. Alas, too many lowlights in recent years. Peter's sense of justice and injustice was amazingly acute, and his vast generosity drove him to help all sorts of organizations and a disparate variety of individuals any way he could, often regardless of the risks. He would identify with the disadvantaged, with those who had encountered misfortune, and always, always with the oppressed. We miss him every day. May his memory be a blessing. And let me introduce someone who I married 61 years ago to this day, Sarah Kovner.
Thank you. I was wondering if he was going to mention that. We really didn't discuss it. So Victor and I met Peter in the anti-war movement, which morphed into the McCarthy for presidential campaign in 1968. And we became casual friends. He was touring a lot. We didn't see him very much, but we were friends anyway. But it wasn't until the mid-'70s when he and Mary Beth moved into our building. I say our building because we were there first, on 67th Street. And what had been a friendship really blossomed into extended family. But that was Peter. He took people into his orbit. And I'm sure most of you, at least many of the people in this room, had that same experience with him. If you were a presidential candidate, and we see John here, we're going to hear from, or a candidate for Congress, or even for city council in some other city, Peter was there for you. If you were a young person just seeking advice about a career, or a reference for a school, or almost anything. If you were an older person who was just seeking friendship, Peter was available. People have talked this evening already about the kind of friend Peter was, and I know most of the people in this room have experienced it. Letty spoke about the kind of generosity and commitment. It was just, it was a commitment of Peter to her and Bert. And there are so many in the room who can appreciate that and had that experience. But one winter, Christmas holiday, which we spent for 30 years in Telluride at Peter's house, we got there, and he said, I'm going to be gone for a few days. I said, where do you have to go? We just got here. He said, well, I have to sing at a funeral. Who died? I assumed it was somebody that I knew through him. He said, well, it's a woman I met 20 years ago, and I've never seen her again. She was a fan of Peter, Paul, and Mary, but she and I kept in contact all of these years, and she asked me if I would sing at her funeral. And off he flew for 2 days to some city in the Midwest, and then came back, and we continued our sojourn and our, as Victor said, on the intermediate slopes of Telluride. But that was Peter. He had, in Telluride, he had a 50-year-old car that he drove. I think he bought it used to begin with. And he would just drive to the slopes and back, so it made sense to have an old car. But it had a bumper sticker on the back which said, think globally, act locally. And I think of it all the time. But Peter thought and acted both globally and locally. We've heard reference to some of the groups that he supported and sponsored and contributed his talents to. There were myriad. That was the kind of thing that he did. We've heard Sweet Survivor sung tonight at least a couple of times, and I hope some more. I think we all have to consider ourselves and Peter's friends around the world the sweet survivors. He is no longer with us, but it's our job to carry on, and I think we will. Thank you.